immunity. Hizi ni Bhagavad Gita ama ni Bhagavad Gita?
Hare Krishna Mataji, we can start. Hare Krishna Soni Mataji, we can start now.
Yes, Hare Krishna. If anyone has anything to say, contribution, any question, Prabhuji, we've really enjoyed the class. For me personally, I know that I have enjoyed, especially from your life experiences. It was very nice. We're learning a lot from there. Yeah. If anyone has a question, please ask. Or any contribution, Kitika Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much. It was an excellent class. And like Soni Mataji said that your life experiences, so we are told, okay, surrender to Krishna, think about Krishna, offer your heart to Krishna. But we really didn't know the process. And with your examples and experiences, I think it has now clarified. We are very novice. We've never even touched Bhagavad Gita before. So this group is just beginners. So thank you very much for that. And I also learned, so you offer to Krishna only good things, I thought. So you get the best flower for him, and you cook the best meals for him, and you want to give the best. And if there's something bad, you don't want to offer. But today I learned that even if you have a difficult time, even if you had like Draupadi, I mean, we know that example, but at least I did not connect it. That even in difficult times or something that you are trying and say, didn't turn out the way I wanted to, but Krishna, I really tried, so I'm offering to you. So we can do that as well. So Prabhuji, that was really excellent. And if my thinking is not correct, kindly correct me. So if something is not right, can we still offer it to Krishna, is my question.
Yeah, so I think what I was, exactly, that even, I mean, we all face difficulties in life, and there's all been points in our lives where I know I can speak for myself, where I think, why, before I even came to Krishna consciousness, you may even say, why God, why is this happening to me? And then instead we can say, okay, even in those moments, we can say, okay, thank you. I don't know why this is happening. And probably one of the most amazing examples I can think of is Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada, as we know, he suffered 2 heart attacks on the way to America to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. He landed in New York. He didn't know anyone. He had 35 rupees in his back pocket. And he was staying not only in New York, but in the worst area of New York, in the Bowery, full of thieves, full of drug addicts, full of many criminals. And he said to Krishna upon arriving, he said, Krishna, I don't know why you've brought me here, but whatever it is, I surrender. I know that you brought me here for a reason. I don't know why. I don't know why this is happening, but I know you brought me here for a reason. And so he surrendered in that moment to Krishna. So my point is, yeah, definitely, we're all going to face difficulties in life, and it's never easy. It's never easy, but through regularly discussing Bhagavad Gita, it sharpens our intellect, it sharpens our intelligence, and through surrender, through this practice, gradual practice of even through difficult times, whether it's the good times or that it's the difficult times, we can surrender to Krishna. And it's explained in the Shastras that in the heavenly planets, there's too much opulence, there's too much of the good times. So people are so enamored by the opulence in the heavenly planets that they can't surrender to Krishna. But conversely, in the hellish planets, there's so much suffering that they're suffering so much that they also can't surrender to Krishna. Well, here on the earthly realm, we have the perfect balance of suffering and distress and happiness, the perfect balance. So enough that we can surrender to Krishna. So as much as it's difficult in either situation, and Krishna talks about this earlier in the Bhagavad Gita, happiness and distress, if we can just surrender both, in both moments, we can surrender to Krishna, practice doing this. We can cultivate this highway, which will lead us directly to Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That was really nicely explained. Are there any other questions or comments? I think there is a great comment from Peter Muli. The Prabhuji with the Jagannath as his great class. Prabhuji, thanks a lot. Jai Jagannath. Any more comments or questions? Prabhuji, this is a continuation from yesterday. So we had a lot of doubts that were clarified yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no problem. Well, just want to say thank you again so much to all the devotees for tuning in, for listening, for this opportunity to speak and learn as well. And yeah, I pray that I can have your association again soon in the future.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll contact you if there are any days that you would prefer. We can give you a regular session as well. There is a comment from Richard Ochieng. I joined late. Dr. Ochieng says that, but he looks forward to learning more. So very well appreciated, Prabhuji. The network doesn't support, so most of us just write on our messages on the chat. And I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of Mansi Ganga Mataji, who was here, who is our mentor and who is the brain behind the centers in Eldoret, Nakuru, and Juja, and everywhere else. Now it's her dream to have centers everywhere, and she's doing it very efficiently. So Mataji, please accept our humble obeisances. Thank you for joining in and mentoring us.
I came in to tell you that Dr. Ochieng, he's from Eldoret, and I sent him very late. Benson told me, and immediately he came on. So I don't know whether you acknowledged him or not. I missed a bit while we got cut off, but he can introduce himself if you like.
Dr. Ochieng, would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Krishna.
It is my first time to join this online class, but I had a good interaction with the ISKCON Eldoret. Sometimes back, I visited the place several times, and I have lots of friends. And I look forward to participate in these activities, especially when it comes to learning of accessing new knowledge. I think I really appreciate, having stayed in India for some time, I have a different perspective as far as religion is concerned, and I really appreciate it. In fact, the way I was received at the society, it was so nice. I really enjoyed and look forward to be part of this great move. Thank you. I teach at the University of Eldoret. I teach geography.
Thank you very much for joining in, Dr. Ochieng. And the link that was sent today, you can join every day on the same link for the next 15 days. So Sante Sana for joining in, and you can share the link with other people if they are interested, Dr. Ali. So we really appreciate your association. Thank you so much. Any other comments or questions? We have a lot of new faces as well. I assume they are from Prabhuji's group as well. So thank you for joining in to this group today, and thank you for your association. And you are welcome every day. We meet at the same time, so 5 o'clock UK time, 8 o'clock Kenyan time. So we have devotees from all over the world joining. If time suits them. So thank you very much for joining in. If there is anybody who'd like to introduce themselves, we'll appreciate. We have our Javai with us, Ramanamadasa. Thank you for joining in from Coventry. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Priya Mataji, Hare Krishna, since your video is on.
So that Priya Darshini is actually my wife. I coerced her into joining today as well.
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Really appreciate releasing Prabhuji at 5 o'clock in the evening. It's not easy. I know how difficult it is. So thank you so much for joining in. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any other questions or comments?
Just one, Kirtika ji, can I please ask Prabhuji a question?
Sure.
I know everyone is going. Prabhuji just mentioned something that because in the hellish planets, there is a lot of suffering, so they can't do Krishna consciousness. Could Prabhuji just explain what does that mean, please? Hare Krishna.
Yes, absolutely. So if you read the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, within there is explained the different planetary systems, of which are lower regions, which we have the beings have subtle bodies, and they suffer the results of negative karma, and they're given various different punishments as a result of this. But the suffering there's many beings which live there and may live in a subtle body, and the suffering is so high, it's so intolerable. Some of the maybe I don't want to go so much into it, but the suffering there can be so drastic. The punishments that people receive, being burnt, etc., all these kind of things, and the pain is so much that they cannot even think of Krishna. So, and conversely, in the heavenly planets, they're enjoying so much. They enjoy the people that are said to be very angelic, very beautiful, far more beautiful than anyone you can see on earth. And the sense gratification you receive there, they drink things like somaras, and they're enjoying so much that they become overwhelmed by this enjoyment, so much that they cannot think of Krishna either. So if you're in so much pain, I don't know if you've ever experienced pain in your lives, but sometimes when you're in so much pain, you can't think of anything else but the pain, right? And the same way in the hellish planets, they're in so much suffering, so much pain, it's too much to think of Krishna. And then obviously conversely, in the heavenly planets, there's so much opulence, they're so intoxicated by the opulence that it becomes very difficult for people to think of Krishna. Whereas on earth, we have some opulence here, but we also have lots of suffering here as well. And there's the right balance between, if it was too opulent, we won't be able to think of Krishna. Why would you surrender to Krishna if your life is wonderful and everything is golden? But also if you're suffering too much, and we can see this, for example, it's explained in the Shastras, the Acharyas explain that we must have a certain level of material comfort to even practice Krishna consciousness. So if we don't have a regular living accommodation, if we don't have our basic needs of food met, if we don't have basic, a certain level of health, then it becomes, apart from the most elevated souls, it can become very difficult to practice Krishna consciousness because we're suffering so much. So I hope this explains, Mataji. So thank you very much for your question, that we need a certain level of, we need certain needs to be met, and we need a certain level of comforts to be able to practice Krishna consciousness until we're at that elevated stage where obviously we can read that some devotees, obviously they're able to completely surrender to Krishna. Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji, it does. And when I started Gita, I had asked another Prabhuji something, a slightly different question.
Sure.
So would you say, Prabhuji, that there is no point preaching or teaching Krishna consciousness in very poor and deprived places then? Would they be able to practice Krishna consciousness, or are they supposed to be just left to suffer this life and hope that Krishna will have mercy on them to make them slightly more opulent?
Yes, that's a very, very,
Well,
very good question. Yeah, very good question. So there's a number. So we still, although I live in the UK, we still have many people who are homeless, many people who live on the streets, many people who have nothing. So it could be argued that they're in such a deprived way that they cannot practice Krishna consciousness. So what can we do for these people? So we have different programs, as I'm sure you have there. One is we have Food for Life here, where we feed the homeless spiritual prasadam. So this has been offered to Krishna, and then we distribute this to the homeless, so those in deprived. So that's one. Yes. Second question, and your main point was, can we still preach to these people? Yes, we can. We can preach to them and tell them about Krishna to some degree, because to whatever capacity they are able to, it's explained within the Bhagavad Gita that whatever spiritual activities one does, there's 3 types of karma. There's karma, there's akarma, and there's vikarma. But whatever spiritual activities one performs, that is like a spiritual bank account, which can never be reduced. You can only build on this. So even if they're deprived, even if they're finding it very difficult, if we're able to engage them in some kind of spiritual activity, they're going to get benefit. They may not be in a position in this life to complete their Krishna consciousness because of their karma and various other things. And Madan Gopal Prabhu explained the complexities of karma and how that it may take many, many lifetimes before we get all the results of our karma. He gave the example of Dhritarashtra, who had 100 lifetimes before he got hit with the killing of his sons, and he was asking Krishna, why did this happen? So the laws of karma are very complex, but that still doesn't mean that we can't preach to these people who are in deprived areas, because even if they're able to, whatever capacity they do, they're going to get some spiritual benefit, and it's going to benefit them. And also from experience from people that I've met, you never know when a situation can change. There's been people who've lived in a deprived area, and if they've even got just a little bit of Krishna consciousness, their situation could change, and then they're able to practice from there. So it still is worth preaching to them, but obviously also we try and provide, and Krishna earlier in the Gita talks about charity in the different modes. So Madan Gopal probably talked yesterday about seeing life through the eyes of the 3 modes of material nature, through ignorance, through passion, and through goodness. So if we can do activities also to help these people in deprived areas, which are in the mode of goodness, providing the food, as well as giving them the principles of Krishna consciousness, they'll definitely get benefit.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
No problem. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'd like to contribute as well. Prabhuji, I have had a lot of prasadam before I really joined the mission 2 years ago. So I think it is because of the prasadam that I'm here now.
Absolutely.
And I had a slip disc, and I mean, I didn't go to work, obviously, and I was lying on the floor for 3 months, and not once could I chant. Not once could I say, because the whole mind and the whole everything just went on the pain and self-pity and, oh, I'm in pain, I'm in pain, I'm in pain. So I know what it would be like to be in hell.
Yeah, that's right.
Definitely there is no way you can chant. And I've been in situations where I've been very happy, and at that time as well, I have forgotten Krishna. So if I was in Swarg, which I don't want to be, I think, as you mentioned, we are in the best place right now, with a little ups and downs, and we can practice Krishna consciousness. And also, if Benson Prabhuji wants to share on the group, he goes for Food for Life every day. So in Eldoret, we go to disadvantaged schools, and I'll share with you some videos if you are interested in. And these children, I mean, there are 100 children. Benson, would you like to say, is your internet, Prabhuji, is supporting? They are in a circle and they are chanting. Prabhuji, please just share your experience. And also the book distribution is another thing that brought a lot of devotees to our mission. But Benson Prabhuji, can you please tell us?
Yeah, Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, everyone. Yeah, so I've been trying to do that as my main service, book distribution and Food for Life, since I joined the movement. And in Eldoret, we have been doing 4 days a week, and we have actually had a very nice experience, because once we go to meet it's mostly kids, but we allow also grown-ups to come once the kids are fed. And every time the kids see us, they are always chanting. They have gotten the habit of chanting that we are so amazed by it that once they see the car, they're just saying Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And it's so pleasing to see such a mood coming from the kids. So I feel that as they take the prasad and chant, it's going to change their ways of life and even the perspective, and they're going to become Krishna conscious at one point. And also book distribution is nice, because now you can preach to the locals and interact with them, get to tell them that it's not Hinduism, because most of them have that perspective that it's Hinduism. And I think also Dr. Kritika Mataji has also been involved in book distribution. It was really nice being involved for book distribution with her. And I hope I want to ask for everyone's blessings as we do the same, so that at least you can be able to have the strength, because sometimes you lack the strength to go out there and do the preaching. So Hare Krishna, that's my contribution.
Wonderful service. Thank you, Prabhu. All glories to your service.
Hare Bol.
Hare Bol. Any more questions or contributions? So I know we have exhausted our time. We are 2 minutes overrun. Okay, if there are no more questions, I would ask Soni Mataji to close the session. Mataji, kindly close the session. Hare Krishna. Your
Hare Krishna. We normally ask Path Prabhuji to close the session, and I understand he's with the
book distribution. He's gone for book distribution out of Eldoret for 2 days.
Oh,
he's here, Mataji.
He's here.
Okay, I didn't see him. Please forgive me, Prabhuji.
Yes, I'm here in Nakuru with
nice. Prabhuji, close the session.
Oh, thank you very much. Also, very nice class. His Grace Kamal Panchal Prabhuji. Also, we thanks all the devotees who joined here. We are not going to time too much. I request all the devotees, please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna mantra for glorification of His Grace Kamal Panchal Prabhuji, and also all the devotees. Please join. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
His Grace Kamal Panchal Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, everyone. Same time tomorrow, same place, same link.
Thank you.
Hare Bol.
Thank you. Hare
Krishna.